Hour 2, Sports Radio 1450, The Hall. We are back, and we are back with a good friend of the show. A guy's voice you're getting used to hearing on this show. Sports columnist for the LA Daily News. You can find him on Twitter at Daily News Vinny. It's Vincent Bonsignore. Vincent, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Can't complain.
So, Vincent, you have a lot going on out in the LA area per usual. Just in the state of California, you had the Oakland A's, the LA Dodgers, Anaheim Angels, and San Francisco Giants playing tonight. That's just baseball. Very quickly, I just want to talk to you about last night's game. One, how fantastic of a game was that?
That was, arguably one of the greatest baseball games I've ever seen. And I watched it from start to finish. It was incredible. You had second guessing of managerial decisions. You had a contrast in styles. You had bunting, which so many people are against these days. Stealing bases. You had everything, and it just kind of showed you what playoff baseball is all about, and that it still delivers after all these years. And we may have to endure regular seasons, long regular seasons, and summer baseball and all that, but when it gets to September, October, it's a pretty special time when it comes to baseball.
We were talking about it at the top of the show, Vincent, but what was your thought on the decision Ned Yost made to pull James Shield from the game when he did?
Well, that in itself was curious enough, but then to abandon what's been a really good bullpen all year and go with a starter as the reliever, that was the error as far as I was concerned, and of course kind of blew up in his face. His team bailed him out, but if they had gone on to lose that game, man, it would have been tough coming back from that kind of an error. And when everyone can see it too, the commentators, me watching it on television, my 9-year-old son's like, "What is he doing? Why would he bring in a guy that's not even his role?" It just seemed so obvious that was the wrong decision at the time.
Vincent, in one of your recent articles, you wrote, "For the Dodgers, it's World Series or bust." Now, is there any other team from the California area that could maybe give them a run for their money?
Well, the Angels have a little bit of something going on right now. They have all year. They've turned the corner and just were so dominant over the last couple of months of the season. Obviously they can. Full disclosure, I'm sure anybody in Southern California would tell you, we're kind of rooting for a fall classic and a freeway series that's never been done before. This, in my estimation, is the greatest chance of that happening. There have been a couple of years where they've been in the playoffs together, but it just didn't have that feel of it. You've got the best team in the American League, the second best team in the National League, and the Angels and Dodgers. That's the team that I think could give them a run for their money. But baseball is baseball. It's just such a roll of the dice when it gets to this time of year. Anybody could take them out, and they could take out anybody. I wouldn't be surprised either way. But I do have a feeling that there's something, within them that there's just such a motivation to get beyond the championship series. And I feel like with a healthy Matt Kemp, Clayton Kershaw doing his thing, kind of stars all over the field, this is their chance, real chance to get to the World Series.
Talk about guys healthy for the Dodgers. The Angels, though, they're coming into the postseason dealing with some guys who are injured down the stretch. Let's start with Josh Hamilton, shoulder injury. Said he's ready to go, but how much can we really expect from him in this ALDS?
That's a really good question. I think it's 12 up to 12 cortisone shots that he's endured over the last week or so, trying to just get himself up and running to be able to get out there on the field. So it's just a question mark. He had been playing pretty well, then he missed 11 games, and he came back, and all of a sudden he's got a rib cage injury. And I talked to him about it, and he was telling me, it's not so much the swing, which you would think that it would affect that, but just the running, and there was a sharpness, in his chest when he breathed. So it's kind of a nagging injury, and it's a big question mark right now. But the good news is they have, Mike Trout. They have, just a really well-rounded lineup. King Albert, is back in the playoffs, and he usually does pretty special things in the playoffs. So that's a team to watch. I don't know if they got the national press that they deserve throughout the year, but they're a fun team and a very good team.
Yeah, this is a team that the last couple seasons coming in, not including this season, they got a lot of prep, a lot of press nationally after they signed Pujols a couple years ago, then Hamilton, but not so much this year. Another guy that could be a big difference maker for the Angels, Matt Shoemaker, oblique injury through a bullpen, said he's ready to go for the ALDS. Do you think there's going to be anything holding Shoemaker back, or is he good to go 100%?
I wouldn't say 100%. Those are pretty, just the type of injury that you just don't want any time, but especially going into the playoffs. He's going to gut it out, no pun intended. But I wouldn't say that he's at 100%, but he'll do whatever it takes to be able to perform during his starts, and he is a huge factor. I mean, he's really their number 2 pitcher right now. Behind Jared Weaver, so they absolutely need him. And on the flip side, the Dodgers, Hyun-Jin Ryu, he's throwing a simulated game today through a bullpen session on Sunday, and they're hopeful that he's going to be able to pitch in Game 3 against the Cardinals, and that's equally as important for the Dodgers, just as Shu is for the Angels.
Now, Clayton Kershaw, whose season can only be described as, I guess, one of the greatest ever or one of the best ever from a pitcher, under 2 ERA, 21-3 record. It always seems to come around. A couple years ago, we had Justin Verlander, who was in the talks for the AL MVP. Now, of course, Kershaw in the talks for the NL MVP. Do you believe in a pitcher winning this, or should it go to a field player?
Normally, I go with the field player, but it's hard to put into words exactly what Clayton meant to the Dodgers this year. It was just 21-3, and usually wins aren't the end all be all for pitchers anymore. But in hit, there's certain guys, and in Clayton's case, it's applicable. They are important because he basically won those games. I mean, he pitched deep, complete games into the 8th inning, into the 9th inning. So those were his games to win or lose, and he delivered. And whenever the Dodgers had a mini losing streak, he was there to put his foot down and end it. It's just been an incredible year, and it's hard for me to believe, even as a position player, there's anyone more valuable right now in the National League than Clayton Kershaw is. He's been that phenomenal. It's words like I said can't describe or really convey what kind of year he's had.
Talking with Vincent Bonsignore of the LA Daily News and co-host of the JV show. With John Gold. He's coming to us from out in Los Angeles. Now, you talk about Clayton Kershaw and how important he is to this Los Angeles Dodgers team. He's going up against Adam Wainwright in Game 1 of this Dodgers-Cardinals series. How important is it for the Dodgers to get a win out of the possible NL Cy Young and MVP winner in that Game 1?
Well, to put it all in perspective, the Dodgers lost to the Cardinals last year in 6 games, and Clayton took losses in his 2 starts in that series. One was, just a bum loss for him because he pitched well enough to win in Game 1, and then in Game 6, he just got run out of the stadium, and a performance that I believe is going to motivate him in this series. I think that performance in Game 6 last year, which I've never seen him more just beside himself than he was after that game. And he's pretty intense after starts, and he was just beside himself. And I think that's the one thing that's been driving him all year and will drive him in the playoffs. But to get to your question, they have to. I mean, that's once you get past, he and Zach Greinke, it's kind of because Roy is hurt right now and he's kind of questionable. We don't know what we're going to get from him. It's imperative that their top 2 guys deliver, and that not just them delivering, because like I said, last year in the playoffs, Clayton pitched a gem and still lost. So it's on the team, too, to take advantage of the kind of starts that they should be getting from Zach and Clayton.
Now, Vincent, just taking a look at the Dodgers roster as a whole, not a lot of veterans, kind of a young team. Does any of that kind of play in to this year? And a 2-part question, with a team that's, again, not that old, could this just be the start of a long postseason consistent appearance for the Dodgers?
Well, first of all, it's funny you should say not too old because Matt Kemp turned 30 last week, and he was freaking out. He was honestly freaking out about it. We were talking to him, and he's like, I can't believe I'm 30 years old. Like, you know, we were laughing. I'm like, dude, you got a long way to go. You know, stop it with you being old. But he really felt like, man, I'm getting old. And it's a young team, but it's not that young because when you consider, you know, Matt's in his 9th year here in Los Angeles. You've got Adrian Gonzalez, who's been around now for a while. Hanley Ramirez has been around for a while. Juan Uribe, you know, is a veteran. Andre Ethier is a Carl Crawford. So it's not like old by numbers standards, but by experience standards, this is a pretty veteran group right now. Yes, you had Yasiel, who's just, you know, young 21-year-old kid for all intents and purposes. But it's a very mature, very veteran kind of a team, not like I said, not necessarily in age, but definitely in experience. And I think that the experiences that they've had, you got to understand, this is the 4th time in the last 7 years that they've made the playoffs. So they've been, and a lot of the guys, you know, a lot of the guys that are on the team have been a part of all of those. So they've been there, and that's why when I wrote, you know, that it's World Series or bust, I think they feel that as well. You know, they've gotten to the NLCS 3 times now. This would be the 4th if they do it again. They want to get past that, and I think they have just enough veteran leadership, just enough experience, and right now just enough good health to really make that happen.
You can find him at Daily News Vinny. He is Vincent Bonsignore, sports columnist for the LA Daily News. Vincent, always appreciate you taking out some time to talk with us.
You got it, man. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the playoffs.
Absolutely. You as well, Vincent.